Welcome into the CLNS Red Sox Beat Team Roundtable. I am your host tonight, Nick Qualia, sitting alongside Jess, Thomas, and Ethan Winter. What's going on, guys? How we doing? Are we excited to have another roundtable?
Yes, of course, always.
I'm excited to have a roundtable that doesn't get deleted.
Yeah, see, that's what I was going to say. So last time Jess came on a roundtable, my Mac that has been excellent since I bought it. The one time it let me down was the night that Jess came on the roundtable. It blue screened on me, lost everything that I did like within that past hour. So poor Jess. And what sucks the most about that is that was a pretty good roundtable.
It was. And I just told Nick before this roundtable that if this happens again, never coming on again. That's it.
And that's a damn promise. That is a goddamn promise. All right, so topic that we are going to hit tonight is, can the Red Sox, who are red hot right now despite losing 4-1 in the bottom of the third inning right now with Chris Sale on as we record this podcast, can the Red Sox catch the Houston Astros in the American League for the best record and therefore have home field advantage throughout the playoffs up until the World Series if they were to go that far? Now, guys, what do we think? Do we think that this is a possibility? Do we think that the Red Sox schedule will allow this to happen? And realistically, I guess the question is, do you think that they can beat anybody in the American League right now? Because that would get them the best record in baseball, in the American League at least. Jess, what do you think?
I've teetered back and forth. Obviously, it's a lot closer now than it has been most of the season because the Astros started out so much ahead of everybody, and obviously the Sox have really climbed back and played incredible baseball this month. I'm still going to go with no, they won't catch them. And the biggest reason is that both their schedules, neither of them are really that difficult. I mean, a lot of Mariners, Athletics, Angels, Mets, pretty poor teams that the Astros are playing. And the Sox are playing some pretty poor teams too, with the same A's, the Rays, Toronto, Baltimore, Cincinnati. None of those are really good teams, but I mean, just the fact that if it was tied right now, I'd say absolutely. But the fact that it's 4 games difference, I think they'll squeak it out barely. But it's going to be close. I mean, the Astros aren't quite as good as they've been, but they are a really good road team, and I think that might give them a slight edge.
The thing is for whatever reason this year, the Red Sox have struggled against the A's, and they do play them one more time in September at Fenway Park, so maybe being at Fenway will kind of change their fortunes against the A's this time around. But I'm going to have to agree with Jess. I don't think that the Red Sox will quite catch the Astros, just simply because, one, they still have to play the Yankees, which I think for 4 games, which they should split at the very least. They should split.
Is that supposed to scare me?
I mean,
the Yankees, is that the team that's supposed to scare me? The Yankees aren't a good baseball team. They're too busy punching the Tigers right now. They don't scare me one bit anymore.
I mean,
Yankees can go screw. The Yankees to me right now are showing their true colors, which those colors, those black and white D-bag colors, all those colors are a second place at best mediocre team, because this AL East is not nearly the AL East that it was last season. So being in second place in this division right now, really not that much of an accomplishment. Who'd you beat out? The Orioles, they suck. The Blue Jays, they suck. And the Tampa Bay Rays. Did I already say them? They suck.
No.
They're not very good either.
Those 3
But, I mean,
suck.
I'm not saying that the Yankees necessarily scare me, especially since we've been playing better against them now. But it's always something to keep in mind, especially with this Red Sox bullpen, and that the way that John Farrell has been managing this bullpen.
You got Carson Smith coming back on the first.
Yeah, but you can't – it's unfair to make him the savior of the bullpen when he just came back from Tommy John surgery and hasn't pitched since May of last year.
Do you think Red Sox fans are going to look at him and be like, oh, that's okay that he just blew this 3-run lead? Oh, that's fine. He came back from Tommy John surgery. No, they're gonna come out with the pitchforks and the fires and the torches, the tiki torches that those people in Virginia use. They're gonna come out with those and chase him out of town. they're going to chase Carson Smith out of town if he's bad. But the Red Sox schedule, the reason that I believe that they are going to be using, or they're going to take over the best record in the American League, is because, the Astros have a weak schedule, but you got to remember they've been kind of beat up too. The Red Sox also have a weak schedule
since the All-Star break.
They've been what?
They're 2 games over 500 since the All-Star break.
Exactly. They're in a rut right now. The Red Sox are hot, and the Red Sox have to go through the Yankees, which again don't scare me. The Blue Jays,
that's
Tampa Bay, Oakland, Tampa Bay, Baltimore, Cincinnati, the Blue Jays, and the last series is against the Astros. So realistically, it could come down to the last series for the best record in baseball, which is awesome. But other than the Astros, none of these guys scare me.
I really do think that we won't really know who's going to have the best record in the American League until that last series, like you said, Nick. I think it's going to come down to that. And honestly, I could realistically see the Red Sox and the Astros splitting that last 4-game series. And because I see the Red Sox coming in a game behind the Astros, and because they split, they're not going to overtake the Astros in that last series.
I think that it's, 4 games is a decent amount up at this point in the season. I know there's still a little over a month left, but still, it's hard to make up
2011, Jess.
Oh, yeah, no.
2011.
Well, yeah, if the Astros go 7-20 in September, we'll see about that. Then it'll change my mind. But they're still, they still have 165 run differential. They still have one of the best offenses in the league. They're in the top 5 in pitching as well. They got a good overall balanced team. So I don't think they're going to struggle as much as they have. I think they'll go on a little winning streak, and it's going to make it that much more difficult. Still may come down to the last weekend, maybe, but I just don't see the Sox quite getting all the way to the top.
If I think the Astros are going to go to the World Series, no, I don't think the Astros are going to make a deep playoff run. I think they'll lose in the first round.
Wow, bold statement.
If they go to the first round today, that's most likely against the Yankees. You think the Yankees are going to beat the Astros?
Well, it depends. It depends where they finish up. But even if they make it to the ALCS, I think no matter whether they face the Red Sox or the Indians, I think they'll have a short series and it won't be good news for the Astros.
If we're going to go based on the promos for the night, whether or not they're going to win, they will win the 4th against the Blue Jays because it is Dennis Eckersley hat night. He's a winner. And they'll probably lose on the 13th because it's Xander Bogaerts Gnome night, which means a lot of hits and a lot of whiffs, a lot of strikeouts. But
I hope they win in the 4th because I'm going to be there sitting on the Green Monster. So.
Ooh, lucky you. I've never had a game up there. But
yeah, well, there's a reason for it, Nick. It's my bachelor party, so.
Oh, we're going to get a little saucy up there, aren't we?
Yeah, I got some good friends.
Yes.
That are doing things.
But getting back to this, the only thing that I think could get in the Red Sox ways is, believe it or not, Tampa Bay, and I know that goes against what I said earlier, but Tampa Bay, they have 6 games left. And what history has told me about the Red Sox and the Tampa Bay Rays is no matter how bad the Rays are, and even going back to the Devil Rays, no matter how bad they are, if they're 20 and a half games back in August, they always find a way to beat the Red Sox and give them a tough time. That's the only reason. That's the only team I see giving the Red Sox a tough time through September because it's the Yankees. I'm not scared of the Yankees. The Cincinnati Reds. They're not a good baseball team. The Baltimore Orioles are in shambles. The Blue Jays, same thing. They don't have pitching. It's going to come down to the Astros. I think they're going to come in 1 game behind the Astros going into that weekend, that 4-game stretch, and I think the Red Sox take it over. I think the Red Sox win 3 games out of 1.
I wouldn't sleep on the Orioles, though, even though they've been terrible this year. For whatever reason, ever since September 2011, they've always been in a pain in the butt for the Red Sox. They've always played the Red Sox tough, the Orioles. So I think the Orioles could potentially cause some problems, more so than the Rays, actually. But I think that both the Rays and the Orioles could cause the Red Sox some problems.
Now, if it came down to it, head-to-head, so we're going to talk about these last 4 games. If it comes down to that, what we've been talking about, who do you think wins that series, though? Because the Red Sox right now, they're cooking, although they're not tonight, but they are a very talented baseball team, and their talents are showing right now. And I think the Red Sox might have better pitching than the Astros, to be frank.
Well,
they do too.
Especially the Astros don't get Justin Verlander through the waiver trade. But it's a 4-game series. I think the Red Sox will split, just because I think John Farrell is going to cost the Red Sox a game. But I could definitely see the Red Sox taking at least 3 out of 4. I could see the Red Sox winning that series. But realistically, I think they'll split, because the Astros are still a good baseball team. They still have a good offense, and their pitching and the bullpen the bullpen is probably better than the Red Sox. The starting pitching is about the same.
And the Red Sox have better starting and bullpen than the Astros.
I think the Red Sox, honestly, have a very talented bullpen.
I do too.
And I think it beats the Astros. Here's the thing. If Manager John can figure out how to manage this talented bullpen, then you got a good bullpen. And it's not that hard. Let me draw this out for you. You don't pitch Matt Barnes on the road. That's solution 1.
Unless it's a blowout.
Unless you're up by 20. Even in that case, I'm a little scared. 7, 8, 9, Joe Kelly, Carson Smith, and Addison Reed, because we already know he doesn't like to pitch Addison Reed 2 days in a row. So alternate those 2, and then Craig Kimbrell. It's easy. Why don't I manage this team? It's not that hard. It's not that hard of a formula. Jess, you have any final thoughts?
Yeah, I like that. I mean, definitely, I agree with the bullpen. They're good. They got good pitchers. They just need to be put in the right spots, and they had been for a while, and then something went weird the last 2 or 3 weeks with Farrell and the bullpen. So I don't know what happened there, but they have potential to be good, and I would take them over the Astros. They have a better bullpen ERA. They have a better starter ERA. So, yeah, the Indians scare me the most instead of the Astros. I'm not sold on the Astros. I want to see more because I haven't seen a whole lot of them, and the record's great. But the Indians scare me more, and Chris Sale can't seem to pitch against the Indians, so that's also concerning. So hopefully bring on the Astros.
And listeners, let me tell you, Jess saying something critical about John Farrell is a milestone. You should listen back to this past Monday's podcast on CLNS Media on the Red Sox team.
It happened there too.
Yep, that's the first time I've ever heard him or Lauren say anything negative about John Farrell.
And we agreed too, and Jared wasn't even there.
I know, which is huge. That sucks. I wish Jared was there. He probably would have peed himself. Ethan, do you have any last statements?
I think just it kind of goes back to last year, how the Red Sox finished last season. I did not like the way that John Farrell kind of managed the end of last season. Hopefully he'll learn from it this year, but I have a feeling that the Red Sox, once they clinch the division, they'll just coast in and finish with a worse record than they probably should have, and therefore they won't have the best record in the American League, and we'll have to play the Indians in the first round.
All right, Ethan and Jess, thank you for coming on to the CLNS Media Red Sox Beat Team Roundtable. I am your host, once again, Nick Qualia. Thank you for listening, everybody. Have a good night.